Yeah, thank you for everyone who's participated really well in the last kind of 4 days of sessions. It's been really good. It was great, especially yesterday afternoon, to see a bunch of the teams at the collab working with big pieces of paper in front of them, flip charts, and getting kind of really into it. So today is our kind of day to look at the business side of things. Consider your business plan, consider how you pitch your plan, etc. And luckily for Innovate Durban, we have our own in-house expert who runs, I probably have lost count how many businesses on the side. But Sakiwo is going to be taking us through today's session around the business plan development and kind of pitch training. Obviously, you guys got a lot of resources already. If you do have questions, please send them through, whether it's related to the presentation or something kind of more generic. We will get to those after the presentation. So yeah, over to you, Sakiwo.
Morning, everyone. I'm Sakiwo, as Amy said. Today, I'll be going over business plan review and how to pitch your innovations and solutions. So I'm going to share my screen. Yes. So here is my screen. Amy, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. So yes, so I'll be going over business plan review and our pitching pack. So I want to start off with a business model canvas. The reason being is because your business model canvas normally speaks to your business plan. And so as you are making solutions and innovations, how will this now turn into a business? And that's what the judges and investors look at. You might design or create anything that is really good, but if it doesn't make business sense, then it's normally hard to invest in those products. So as I look at our business model canvas, I just want to go over certain things over our business model canvas, which our business model canvas starts like this. And these are simple things that you're supposed to answer when you've done your innovation and came up with your solution. So normally you'd look at who are your key partners. So say you're making your innovation through Software AG's platform. So initially, because it's an app, your supplier, I'd say, is Software AG. So Software AG is a key partner, even though you are rendering a service from them, but they are a key partner because without their platform, your app can't your app can't run because it's run on their platform. So identifying who's the key partners and who plays a good role and an important role in your business. So we look at key activities, like what are your day-to-day activities in your innovation and in your business. Yeah. So if you make Airbnb, for instance, its key activity is trying to get more places to be listed on their platform in order for the end user, which is the customer, to try to get to try to get a place to stay in on their platform. So those are the key activities of day-to-day for Airbnb, and try to make these relationships and try to market it as good, as great as possible. So your value proposition normally speaks now to your innovation. What makes your product different to other products? What makes your product special than what is already in the market? So you look at those things, and so your value proposition is like really important. Like, you have to know what makes your product different from any other product. And that's what the judges will be looking at when you present your innovations and products. They will look, how's it different? How does it speak to people of Durban, and the goal of making Durban a smart city. So customer relationships, how do you maintain customer relationships? Many online businesses and apps manage this through automated systems, whereby you send a message asking about it, you get a response that is very fast, that says, thank you for contacting us, we'll be contacting you soon. As the time you wait, and then there's a person who is a customer relations manager that will get back to you. But the automated messaging, is the one that apps use to what's the word, to manage your relationships with the end user. So customer segments are your target market. Your target market being, say your app is a app where which makes you find hair in Durban, for instance, just an example. So what you do is, your customer segments obviously would say, because most people that buy hair are females, that would be okay, gender, who likes to buy hair? It's your 18 to 40, 45, So that's how we look at your customer segments. So you break it up, even in going to, since most of the apps, I mean the innovations that I've heard people talk about are apps. So you'd look at your analytics more, So if it's a place where you find hair, it would be mostly girls that or females that would go on the app and on that site. So that is your customer segment. So you have to know who your customer is, and you have to make this app specifically is used by your 18 to 40 or your 18 to 45, So that's how you look at your customer segments. So channels are places which your footprint of your brand, your product is at. So let's say you have an app, you use YouTube as maybe giving people tutorials and placing them on YouTube. So you can also redirect people to YouTube, and people get your information. You can use Facebook, in getting a whole lot of following, maybe sales here and there. You can use, so social media is used as, by most businesses now that are online, as a place where to get leads, to get leads and to get buyers of your product. So you have to state which channels will you take and which platforms will you use to get these leads and get people to buy a product. Key resources. So as you create, obviously you'd need patents, you'd need branding and everything. So those are key to your product. You know, you can't, you can create a product, but without all these things like branding and patents, it will make your life, you know, and it will tell the judges and investors that you didn't actually plan this well, you know, because if you're saying you created something, then you really want to protect it and you wouldn't want it to be stolen, you know. And with branding, the same thing, you know, you want to have your own look and people to identify with your logo or branding as this is this kind of um, um, that this is um, that this is this brand, you know, as software AG, you know that the light blue and you know the logo that is big, you know that are okay. You know, at first glance, even Nike, you know that the tick is Nike, you know. So those are key resources, obviously, to make your business model canvas, and then you state all your key resources, like everything, you know. And then your revenue streams, you know, this is very important. Revenue streams are what the investors and judges really look for, because you can make something and not be able to monetize it, you know. So you'd want to look at many people say, I'm creating an app, and then you're like, but how will you generate money from it? And then they just say ads, you know, not taking into account that in order to make money off ads, you need a certain amount of clicks, you know, in your ads and so forth. So I want you to look at those revenue streams as well as we're creating apps. So you can use monthly subscriptions, and I'm giving you ideas. So, but yeah, you can use monthly subscriptions, and you can use you can use even the channels as the social media channels as a revenue stream, because now you can even buy things on Facebook directly without even going to the website. So you can use different types of channels, and that will talk to your revenue streams. Anything that will take revenue from the user to your business directly is a revenue stream. So make sure that you have all of that in your presentations, and or even thinking about it that this is how, or this is the channels, or these are the streams that would make money from. And then your cost structure. Your cost structure is what in the business it would cost, you know. So let's say creating an app, you'd need to buy domains, you need to buy, there's some plugins that will cost you monthly and so forth, you know. So all of those are your cost structure. Yeah. So you will identify that all these are the things that I'd need money for, or you'd use money on, in order to make your product work, in order to get revenue from your customers. You know, I hope that does make sense. So that is our business model canvas. So your pitch, obviously, this is the skeleton of your pitch, you know. So once you answer all these things, you'll be able now to go back and say, answer the things now that would be on the pitching deck and be able to pitch it once you know all these answers on your business model canvas. Because you take your business model canvas as a skeleton of everything that you will present, you know. So everything that you present is the body, and this is the skeleton. This will make your pitch make sense to you, and you'd be able to explain it by presenting to us and then sending it to us, obviously. So now I'm going on to pitching. So this is what I love most. I love pitching. So pitching your business and innovation, well, it's many things. So pitching gives you an opportunity. It's actually the first line of marketing, I say, you know. So pitching something, even when you're pitching to a friend, just trying to get ideas going, that is your first pitch, actually, you know, by telling them that I have an idea like this, you know. That is the first form of pitch that you've ever made, you know. So, but pitches give you an opportunity to test your innovation, because as you pitch it, people have questions, you know. And as I say, as you pitch it, it makes more people aware of things, and you gain visibility, obviously, because now since you've pitched it, people have seen it and heard about it, you know. And then you can use pitching to attract investments and investors, and try to get deals off pitches. And there are different types of pitches, which I will tell you later in the slide. So pitching helps you to get feedback from people, you know. You get feedback, and they just, actually, when you pitch, people discuss, whether it's your friend, your close person, you discuss, what if they ask this, you know. Try to practice pitching as much as possible, so people and your teams would actually be able to ask you the questions if you're the one pitching that is listening. So you want everyone to come back and ask you questions, you know. And when everyone asks you question, that's how you get feedback. That's how you redefine your presentation. That's how you get further in your business case, you know. Yeah. So in pitching, yeah, it's very important to know your audience, you know who you're pitching to. And in your case, you're pitching to Software AG, which is a software company that spent 2 days teaching you about their product and trying to make you use their product in whatever that you are creating, you know. So I'd say, or advise, to use their product. It would put you in a better position, obviously, because it would tell them that, oh, you've been attentive during the innovation challenge, and you've used our platform to come up with a solution, obviously, you know. And in this case, since they're the judge, they are the investor, you know, and the partner, they are the investor. So you want, since you're pitching to them, to feel as if they are one with your solution, because you have used even their platform. So in making in doing pitches, obviously you have to make like catchphrases, you know. When you say make, in like, when you're pitching, you don't want to make everything long, as like now you have a long business plan and you're trying to pitch everything on that business plan, but just have catchphrases on what you do and make sure that it makes sense even to you, before submitting anything or presenting anything. Just make sure that it does make sense to you, so that the other person, even if it's like a question, it must be a question of, no, it doesn't make it. It mustn't be a question of it doesn't make sense to me, but it should be a question of, okay, you have this awesome idea, but I just don't understand because I'm from this background. How will you do this? And try to simplify it as much as possible. For instance, I do not see Steve Wozniak, of Apple, explaining anything that had to do with Apple. It was always Steve Jobs, because Steve Jobs really didn't code, really didn't do anything with the product, but he was in marketing of the product, because he could simplify anything. He could simplify the product and present it as best as possible, So you need someone that is like that, or you need to be that someone that will present stuff in that way and try to make it as simple as possible. You don't want, let's say now you're in software development and IT, and only software AG is in that sector, that is in the judging panel. Now, probably software AG would understand you, but you still have a whole panel that is really like, I'm not sure, so you'd want to even try to simplify everything and try to make everyone understand what and why you have created what you have created, and how you created it, obviously. Yeah, bro. So some examples of pitching is panel pitch, which you guys are panel pitching because it's a wide audience of judges with slides, obviously, but there's an elevator pitch whereby we do it to our friends, we do it on our day-to-day, just talking about our business and try to make someone buy into our business. And then there's movie pitches with catchy videos and clips that circulate online, which I'm sure you've seen on YouTube. There's a guy called Nico Malan. I just, that guy does movie pitches, Every ad on YouTube is like, Nico Malan, I'm doing this and this and this. That is now your online social media pitches, So you guys will be doing panel pitches, and those panel pitches will be judged by, your software AG and our partners. Yes, and here's a tip. With pitching, you're selling your idea, you're selling yourself, and you sell your investment return, So say you have, say you want $1 million, So you have to say that why you want the million and how much of that million will you get back and how long will it take to get that million back. Yes, so next slide. So now we're going to our pitch slide deck. So I just want to, this is just to outline to you guys. I'll go over these thoroughly, but have a concept, Obviously, when you start by pitching, obviously now you would have had a chance to select which challenge and which solution you're remotely coming with or that you are at. So that's the concept. that you're looking at, and then the problem, initial challenge, the problem. And within that challenge, you will see that which problem are you trying to solve, looking at market sizing, looking at the opportunity, look at the market and the competition that you are playing in, look at the model, the business model that you'd be using, whether you'd be using a service thing or a product thing is all up to you. What's the special sauce? Again, this talks to your value proposition. What makes yours different? What makes yours special? Numbers. No investor would invest without numbers. Without numbers and without a person knowing, because I was told that no one really would fund your dreams, unless there is something to get from that dream, So always talk numbers that will entice investors, obviously, and try to make them accurate, because even though you talk numbers, if you lie about numbers always has a way of catching people out, because before investing in things and investors, it goes to a whole review process, which then that will tell people that no, these numbers are wrong, and once all this is done, it's a so what, meaning so what from here, which I'll also go into detail as I go down the slides. Okay. So here's our pitching overview. Our concept show the product, service, and cause you to sell, and then so your concept, has to speak to what you do, like, is it a project, is it a product, or is it a service that you're selling, So that's what we'd like to see in your pitches, So are you offering a product that will speak to solutions? That will speak to the challenges as a solution. If this product comes to light, if this product comes to light, it will be solving this problem, With this service, if this service comes to light, it will solve this problem, which is a challenge that you chose, or a project. If we do this project, it will eradicate this kind of problem. So yes, so your concept always speaks to that, and always tell us how does it work, how does it work? Because even though we know that it's this product, but we have to know how does it work, like today, on a day-to-day basis, like how will it work, what is the problem that you are trying to solve, why are you doing this, again, why is there a need and a market gap, why is there a problem worth solving, and why now, So have these things in mind when you're introducing your product to investors and our judges, they really want to know why you're doing this, why is there a need of your product, where is the gap, and so forth, Market sizing, current and target customers, how would you reach them? Most apps, again, because, most people are looking at apps, use social media in order to get their customers, and how to and that's how to reach their customers, you know. So yeah, that's how you'd get traction from people. You'd make ads, obviously. You try to configure in whatever platform that you're using that it must reach this people. My company is in Durban, so you will put the demographic that you want this ad to go out here in Durban, and so forth, you know. So yes, and then you want evidence, market excitement, price, volume, quality, and delivery, you know. Very important, you know, very important in always know your price, how much volumes, and the quality of your product, you know. Sometimes you'd make a product and you'd be like, and it must like review it with your teams, try to review it. And if there is a way to make it better, obviously try as much as you can to innovate what you've already created, you know. That's why you get iPhone 5, the next year, iPhone 8, you know, with different features that are upgraded from what is already there, you know. So yeah. And yes, be unique about your products, you know. Don't try to emulate or imitate any other thing that you might see online, you know. That's just a tip from me. Like, try to be unique and catch attention, you know. Have a proper slide when you are presenting, and make even the viewers try to catch their attention with your slides. Okay, now this is the why slide, you know. So experience and capacity, you know. So with investors and our judges, it is important. That's why we said the Youth Innovation Challenge is a team program, you know, because you come up with better solutions just as a team, you know. There's only so much you can cover alone. So, and your team talks to, like, having a team is a good thing, because then that means you guys have different types of skills, which in which let's say we, like, judges and investors look at competency, you know. So when they look at your team and they be like, oh, okay, he has extensive experience in probably marketing and sales, you know, and this other one has extensive experience of software and web development, you know. So they'd understand that, oh, okay, the sales one always markets what the web developer and the software actually builds, you know. So that's how even investors look at teams and your organograms, because those are really important to tell the investors and the judges that we are competent to actually see this project or this innovation through, because we have so and so who's a software developer, and so who has extensive experience in sales, and so and so. So that now tells the investors that, oh, okay, we can work with these people, because as investors, there's things that they come with, you know, and artillery that they come with. So with joining forces, if you watch Dragon's Den, they'd be like, we're gonna invest money like this, but in addition, we have stores all around London, which we can put your product in. And so everyone understands, oh, okay, this is the role that I play. This is the role that I play. This is the role that I play. And that makes your product and your business argument more, it just gives it more strength as a team, because it just says that you're multi-faceted. So your competition, who are your competitors? Always know who your competitors, what space are you playing in, how strong are they? And even in the market, how much do you think you'd gain from the market that you're playing in, with them being alongside you or them being your competitor, So always know and state your competitors, because that tells the investor that, oh, okay, at least this person knows that now he's dealing with like Amazon and Takealot, like when you look at them, they both working, but they do the same thing, but they both simultaneously are working in that sector of online e-commerce, So yes, so business model, that will talk about so your business model canvas, and number 6, exactly what I've went through. How will you make money? What are your revenue streams? Where are your distribution channels, and your top 3. Try to tell us your top 3 costs. Please give us real numbers, like try to research as much as possible and give us real numbers, and, since things now are moving at a rapidly fast pace, you want, and most marketing and sales pitches of many companies, we are cheaper, we are better, we are faster, so try with all those things, have your own, if it is cheaper than what is normally used, put it there that, no, if you use our product, it is cheaper now to use this, it is better now to use this. We get this at a faster rate than any other thing. We actually were talking yesterday about the Eskom app, that now it notifies you when load shedding is and what times and so forth and so forth. So that is a very concise thing, which as load shedding is happening, it will transfer and tell you on the app, because there's always a schedule at Eskom. There's always a schedule on Eskom that was configured on that app to notify people like when load shedding is. So try to be as concise as possible. Yes. So, okay, what kind of investor are you looking for? Obviously here, because it's a competition, it's grant funding, But at the same time, okay, we don't, it's not a debt, it's not equity. No one's taking your debt or making you go in debt or taking your equity. But even in a competition, because the judges will look at the most practical, and even after the Youth Innovation Challenge, what can we actually do with the product? So they will go above, so try to go above and beyond the Youth Innovation Challenge. Don't say, no, I'm just creating for something, creating for the Youth Innovation Challenge. Try to go above and beyond the Youth Innovation Challenge, because you don't get much grant funding. So if you get grant funding, that already gives you a start to go forward and pursue these innovations. Because like as a smart city, like, and as going to that, it is heavily reliant on innovation as well. So my tip on this is know your audience, which you do. It's our partners, Software AG, it's Zutari, it's Adams and Adams, So it's Innovate Durban. So try to research as much as possible who you pitching to, even in future, so that you know that, oh, this will entice them because it talks to what they believe in, So it's like a CV, like you adjust as what the company wants, So even in the pitches, like you have to adjust as, maybe you're thinking your innovation as the whole South Africa, which fair and good, but the people that are judging will judge on smart city and look at Durban and be like, okay, this will work in Durban and then this will work in South Africa. This is a really good idea, So the how. What is the special sauce? Special sauce is innovation. The innovation of your product. What is innovative about your product? What makes it different to all the other products that are in the market? Why people should stop what they initially using and use your product. So all these things have to come into consideration. What gives you the competitive advantage over an existing product? Because when you're an entrepreneur and innovator, you're going amongst people that have been already doing it. So what gives you the edge over them? What gives you the thing that would say that, okay, you have a product and my advantage is this, and you try to build on that, and tell a unique story. Pitching is also about storytelling and how you tell your story, because you want people to be enticed about your story. You want everyone to be captured. You want to take them on a journey of imagination. Say, for instance, before there was a laptop, there was a big computer that had a hard drive that, and then now you could just do everything while walking. I mean, while at the airport, So all those things gives you a competitive edge, and that's what you'd have to put in your pitches, So numbers. So numbers are very, very important as well. Numbers quantify expected revenues, expenses, internal rates. It tells us the flexibility and scalability of your business. So all of those things we'd have to know, because it will really tell the investor that, oh, okay, since now we know this, and this is claimed to make this much money if we produce, say, 1,000 of these, 1,000 of these make us get R1 million profit, So that will tell the investor that, oh, okay, if I put in the 100,000, maybe that 100,000 will make it in a year, and take into account all these things, the expenses of the company, paying suppliers, paying for domains for the app, developers here, So all of the numbers will tell the judges that, oh, okay, they've taken into consideration most of the monies, and if this goes well, they make a turnaround of this much money, and that is a pivotal section of pitching, because everyone wants to know money, and how they would benefit from it. So what? So in your conclusion, like, it's a call to action. Like, when you say call to action, most ads, your call to action is like, get yours, now, or, so looking at your brand, you look at your brand, like, your call to action maybe is just to put people on the app, and and call to action is, you are telling your customer, or the people that you're pitching, that the 50,000 that you'd be giving me, will work in taking Durban into a smarter city, like this and this and this and this, Like, a call to action, it's like, now you're convincing statements. Like, it's your conclusion, like, now I'm convincing you that if you give me this money, this money, we guarantee you that in 6 months, you'll be getting it back with interest if you're dealing with investors. So, yes. So here's a tip again on how raise and hold attention to past and end, entice real questions, You really want like, people to ask you real questions, and like, the first and last slide is really just to advertise what you're doing, like, probably have your logo there, or to make people, because your first and your last slide are normally the ones that you spend the most time on, so you really want your logo there, because if you're looking at something, then it just stays, and I read something on Coca-Cola in the early 1900s. They had an ad whereby it was only like 5 seconds, and the ad was just the Coca-Cola logo, and that ad converted sales, and they tripled, because it was just like a bam, they didn't tell you anything, it was just there. People just used to see it and see it and see it, and grew fond of it, So in pitching, make sure that your branding and logo at least are very visible at the first slide and at the end slide. So, yes. So here are just tips on pitching. Less is always more. Grabbing attention is key. Detail comes once interest is awoken. Have 5-second catchphrases, and like, try to make the pitch as interesting as possible, and have these catchphrases, because these catchphrases is what will stay in the judge's head, they might not know even your product after reading it, but you said something that is very catchy that will be like, I want to see this person present later or something. So have catchphrases, try to be yourself as much as possible. Yeah. Professional enthusiasm excites investors. Yeah, well, with your story and your belief in the bigger picture, yeah, like show your passion, show how much you believe in the product that you've created, that it will in fact make Durban a better place, don't hypothesize, execute. Yes, try to deal with facts and not fiction, because we actually gave you the challenges that we actually took with the help of eThekwini municipality with Lunga, Majala, which these are real life challenges. This is not like, it's not really play, it's real life challenges. And so we really need facts. We really need real life solutions and innovations that will really are practical and feasible to make in order to make living a better, like living in Durban a better place, and trying to make the smart city. And try to talk about real markets, yeah. So yes, and if you made a prototype, and let's say you make a prototype, you fail, and then you make one again because you have got a couple of weeks to work on them. Stated, we started at our first prototype. It failed like this. We redesigned it, and now we're at the stage, and we were able to solve and see the failure that we did have. That tells the person reading, or the judge, or the investor, that they actually know what they're talking about because they went through failures. In business and innovation, failures really are the gateway to your real success, because if you fail, then you will try to innovate that product, and make it better and better and better. And as soon as you know it, it will be a product that actually is loved or is used by people, because it has went through phases and phases and phases of failure and trial and error until it's a real product. Choose not to be the smartest person in the room. Yes. Not saying that like by this I don't say like try to be dumb, but try when pitching, like the judges and investors have their own opinions, because probably it's their day-to-day thing, or it's their day-to-day lives, and really the opinion of them is like sort of a customer relations thing. If they say like, maybe you could try a better prototype. Let's say you're doing a physical thing. This is not feasible for me to be carrying around me or something. So it's always good to be like, yes, we looked at that, and then, but don't try to be like to be arrogant about it. Don't be you don't want to tell a judge that or we've researched, it's not going to happen anyway. Like try to make your customer relations, like try to have a listening ear and go back, offer something, or even go back a month later when you redefine everything or you've innovated what you already have, go back to the person that actually gave you their opinion slash criticized, and then you'd be like, okay, this is what I've came up with. What do you think about it? You know, and then automatically that person feels like they've made a difference in your product. So yes. So a tip again: the dragons were once in your shoes. Yes. Investors, the judges, everyone. You know, everyone that will be judging and will be will be whether it's investors or the judges, like they've been in your shoes. Yeah, well, like pitching comes in so many different other forms. You know, I mean, you pitch yourself in interviews, you pitch yourself in, so everyone has had a chance to pitch themselves. You know, so they've been in your shoes. You know, so even when getting nervous about it or just, but always know that they've been in your shoes, so there's no reason why to get nervous. You know, they people, you know, you're trying to come up with a solution about it, you know. So just, yeah, just have that in mind that everyone, especially the dragons, have been in your shoes. Okay. So here are pitching tips again, like make it sense of reality, believable experience, learning from failures, you know. So again, when you do a prototype and it doesn't work the first time, state it so that they see that you are actually learning from your failures, you know. So that tells them that they are actually quite innovative. If they fail at this thing, they do it again. It shows resilience, and investors really want to work with people that are really resilient. You know. So yeah, to find the market opportunity and what people willing to pay. You know. So yeah, you know, like, are people willing to pay for what you've created? You know, you always have to like research on that. How much people on a general basis use money on the sector or the products that you've created, and since you've innovated it, how much people will will be willing to use, in the sense of taking out money or um, like getting paid. I mean, paying, yes, paying for the product that you are doing, you know. So always make sure that you try to test the market, you know. So we try to try to test your market through even friends, even, you know, you wouldn't want to say I sell water 700 millimeters of 50 rand, you know, whereby people just open the tap and get water, you know. Like try to look at the market, try to ask some reviews from people. What do you think? Would you buy this for this rate, you know? And try to get the a general idea of how to price this thing and take into account how much you've actually spent in making it. Market tractions are 10% idea, 90% sweat and tears. That's what your pitch should tell investors and judges. That yes, we had an idea, but 90% we worked on the idea. You know, people are actually interested on things that are there than things that are not there. You know, like everyone has ideas. Like everyone has ideas on how, but the minute you make it and the minute you make the product, you know, that's where people are quite interested, because as you speak, you like, look, and that's what the Youth Innovation Challenge wants to, and the culture that it wants to bring, is that don't only have ideas, but show us, your 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 product. Like, we want to see your idea come to life, and we'll try to give you all the tools to bring your ideas to life. And so that's why you had Software AG come down from Joburg to try to show you how to use these tools in order for the 90% sweat and tears to be actually be done there. Ideas, and people, we've been getting emails like, we've got an idea for challenge 1, challenge 2, challenge 3, challenge 4, all the challenges, which is good and well if you have ideas for all the challenges. Now, we wanted contestants to put their efforts into one challenge, and those challenges are so that is the 90% sweat and tears that you put onto one challenge in bringing a solution for that challenge. So yeah, so judges and investors always look at how much of the initial idea have you done, how far are you, and how far can you get even to the final product once made. Validate assumptions and differentiations. Innovations and business ideas should validate when pitching. You should be able to say, you should be able to validate that actually people use so and so much water, but with this thing that I have, they use a less amount of water, So that is validating assumptions and bringing differentiations between other products that are in the market and differentiating it from yours, So always say, like, when pitching, your real requirements, whereby your real requirements are, maybe you need this much money in order to get a prototype. Well, not to get a product that will fit into your prototype. Okay, say you're developing an app and you don't have money for domains and stuff, So your real requirement would be, you need for the money to connect to domains and other plugins, So that's what you require. You require money in order to do what? In order to connect domains. I hope that is clear, And here are things that will break your pitching, Crazy, lazy, hazy claims, generalization and complex structures. Again, I say this, if you know that you are really tech savvy, and maybe a partner from, Innovate Durban, say, a partner from Innovate Durban that has done community development has absolutely no background in the Internet of Things or API, So now you're talking to them and you coming up with all these fancy terms, but they still wouldn't understand what you are doing, because now you came with complex structures, complex terms, that only you understand, So try to make pitches. Try to make your pitches as clear, and as neutral as possible, so that everyone could understand what you're trying to say. Your inability to quickly explain what you actually do, I think this is a break. It's when pitching, just make sure that in 1 or 2 sentences, it tells us what you do, before any other thing. Like, at least it must make sense to the people that are listening to you that, oh, I do this and this and this, I've made an app that connects tenants to people that want accommodation. Airbnb, for instance, that's what they do. Finish. It's 1 sentence, finished. Uber, we connect taxi and cab drivers to customers that want to go from A to B. Finish. That's an explanation and explaining what your company does, and then you will go into the nitty-gritties in the pitch, but at least know what you do and try to quickly explain that and make it understandable. Fixated on an idea, but not implemented yet. Yes, that's why we want you guys to come up with prototypes, because it's good and well that it's an idea, but you will never know. If you don't create anything, you'll never know how many failures will you have in making the end product. The reason why is to get you closer and closer to the end product. That's why we need you guys to make that prototype. Not knowing what you want and what you will do with it, If you have a business or you have an idea and somebody says, I will give you 70,000, what will you do with it? And you don't know. That would make that person reluctant to give you that 70,000, even though they had it in them to give it to you, So always have a plan. If someone says, we'll give you this much money, and then you obviously say, oh, that money will go into connecting this and doing this and probably staff and, all of those things, it has to be planned for, even in other pitches. And arrogance. Just don't be arrogant, about it, because again, these judges have extensive experience, in all of this. Investors, venture capitalists, angel investors, like they know, it's not set in stone that, you can say that you look at something and be like, this is not going to be successful, then Airbnb and Netflix wouldn't be rejected by Blockbuster, for instance, So, but then again, don't be arrogant about it, because the same Blockbuster went back to Netflix and tried to broker a deal when Netflix was big, So in business and just in general in life, arrogance won't take you anywhere, especially when it comes to business, and, if there's a comment coming back, take that comment, try to redefine it, ask your reviews and try to redefine the things and because it's people that will use your things. It's people that will buy your products. So arrogance is not gonna work. Research on the judges, which are our partners. Try to research as much as possible what they do, Software AG told you, there's Domino Foundations where they support they trying to socially transform the nation. So so you might have a innovation that is that speaks to social entrepreneurship, for instance. So and just bear in mind of like everyone and every partner, try to research more and try to compile a a pitch that will speak to them. So yeah, so this is the evaluation process, So what will happen here is that the judges actually that will be judging on this criteria. It's a 1 to 10 scale. They will check if your innovation is actually innovation. How well does your solution address the challenges outlined? That's number one. That's how now they look at. Obviously, they look at the challenge. They look at your solution, and they try to come up with the best rating of how you address the solution. To address the challenge and your solution and what you come up with. Is there a suitable niche or opportunity for the innovative product and service to operate in the market? So obviously you could come up with a solution, for instance, and okay, I'd say the key to most solutions nowadays is data and Wi-Fi, So but many are trying to come up with free Wi-Fi and, but at the end of the day, someone has to pay for that, So you can say, I'm coming up with free Wi-Fi there and there and there and there, good and well, but at the end, someone has to pay for it, and who will pay for it and how will they pay for it, So yes, so that again, we have to always bear in mind that who is there a suitable niche for or opportunity for your product or service to operate in the market? The impact, what impact and significance will your product or service make in trying to make Durban a smart city? Again, making, impact, looking at your solution or product, how is that going to change the livelihood and living conditions of citizens in Durban? How far would it reach? So yeah, and we can only hear that from you, and you will be rated on that. So yeah, and then there's feasibility. Feasibility, again, sales channels, value propositions, achievable development plans, can this concept make money, so we'll all hear that from you guys, telling us about your innovation and the solutions that the feasibility of your solutions. And then there is design execution. Design execution is the product, specifically, the product that you've designed or made? Is it authentic? Is the user experience good? Is the function or the service validated by the market? Do you show a technical inclination and understanding of your own solution or in general? So your design execution is no, it really talks about your product. It really talks about your product, and you're giving the judges the time to evaluate that. This speaks to this. It's user friendly. It's authentic. We've never seen this before. All of those things will come into play when it comes to evaluating the processes. And then lastly, personality and passion. Again, this speaks to like you can't fake passion and personality, like it's really hard, and people that listen to pitches or getting their or have extensive experience of people pitching to them, they see the passion that this person has for this product, or actually solving this problem, because you're trying to solve a problem. That's why it's called challenge, So if you are passionate about solving it and you design something and you create a product that talks initially to that problem, then, then they'd see and rate the passion and personality. And personality also goes on how you pitch, and since you'll be sending slides, a really black and white slide that is just, it will speak to the judges, because really the judges really, you really want someone, if they're going through 10 slides of yours, you really want them to focus on, so you try to make it as beautiful as possible, so in order for the person to actually finish the slide, so and even in pitching, you want someone to be enticed about, have personality while doing it, make them laugh here and there. So that's about it when it comes to pitching. And yes, we will go through the pitching deck now, which talks to this. These are the guidelines, obviously, but we'll send you other guidelines which you can work on. And yeah, let me just try to share that with you. Let me just try to share that with you. Okay. Yes. Okay. So we will share the pitch deck with you, which that is just a guideline, all these things that I've outlined in this slide that I just shared with you. Everything that is just outlined there will be there, and then you will just now formulate your own and talk to the things that are very important to us, and then, try to add, but always know that you will have 10 limited slides. So you want to use your space as much as possible. Don't try to get it congested, Yeah, and good luck to everyone. I'm gonna hand over to Amy right now.
Awesome. Sakiwa, thank you so much for sharing with us. Definitely one of the most valuable presentations of the week. You guys got a lot of information there, a lot of tips. Yeah, if we're not seeing incredible pictures, it's not going to be our fault, essentially. So we have recorded the session. We will upload the recording onto YouTube so you can access it. But we will also share the presentation later today with everyone. Just before we kind of close off the formal program for today, we've got a couple of questions, and then I just want to chat a bit around the logistics around the pitching particularly. So the first question I'll answer in a bit, but it was around how long the presentation on the day should be in terms of pitching, and then whether we will share everything with everyone. So I've mostly answered the second question. This is just a reminder for everyone that the pitch document, like Sakiwa said, we will share a template with you. It's a guide. You're able to make your own changes to that, but it's a good guide. We would recommend sticking to at least the flow of that, particularly also looking at the flow that Sakiwa showed and spoke to earlier. Don't submit more than 10 slides. It's the same as you get a pitch and you can pitch for 10 minutes and then you get cut off. If your pitch slide deck is 12 slides, we will just ignore the last 2 slides. I know that seems harsh, but if every team is adding an extra 2 slides onto their presentation, it starts to get a lot. Your team slide and your title slide count in your 10 slides. So use your 10 slides well. Those will need to be submitted to us via email. You have both of our emails, so you need to send it to both of us on the 14th of September. So you have essentially 2 weeks, it's 12 days until your pitch deck with your solution is submitted. That pitch deck, like we mentioned, it was either Monday or Tuesday, doesn't need to include your prototype photos or videos. You can include it in the pitch deck if you want, but if it's an app, for example, and you can link us up with the app, you can send that through to us separately. Obviously, we do recommend within the product section of the pitch deck for you to include some images and obviously you speaking to that. So that is due on the 14th of October. You will get plenty of reminder emails about that. Don't stress about that. Like we mentioned earlier this week, we will then go through a process of shortlisting, and shortlisted teams will be able to pitch that directly to the panel of judges, which will happen on the 21st of October at the Innovation Collab. For those who do land up pitching directly to the judges, like I mentioned earlier, it's a maximum of 10 slides. You have a maximum of 8 minutes to pitch. So it's just under a minute a slide. I'm not sure if there's anything else really I need to say about that. We have just a question around the Zoom recordings and whether we will be uploading. Every recording we have will be uploaded. Unfortunately, just again, technology recordings from Wednesday and Thursday haven't worked. So we've got recordings of Thursdays, the second part of the session, which we will upload, as well as today's session. We will, like I said yesterday afternoon, though, we will be sharing the presentations that were given by the Software AG team, everything we've presented on during the week. So don't stress about that. Guys, if you have specific questions within the next 12 days, you're welcome to send us an email or a WhatsApp message. If you don't have our numbers, we will send those to everyone. We honestly are here now to help. The Innovation Collab is open for you guys to come and work here. There's good coffee, there's good internet. So even if you aren't needing to use the 3D printer or a laser cutter, if you're developing solely an app, you are more than welcome to come and sit. There's plenty of space here. It's been nice and busy this week, so we would like to keep it that way and keep us entertained. So please do come through. When we send through the presentations today, we will also send a link. You do just need to book to use the space. That's just so that we know, you know, when we get too many bookings, that we're able to cut it off, just to ensure everyone's safe in terms of COVID, etc. Don't see any more questions coming through, so we are going to end the formal session for today. We will remain online if anyone does have questions about today's session, about the rest of the week, about what's coming up and prototype development, if you have questions. Another thing to note, guys, is if you are doing app development or something like that, we do have in-house expertise here. So if you're wanting to get some advice around the tech side of it, or even the design side, if you're coming through the next week and a bit, yeah, there's people here who can help and advise and support there. So we would definitely recommend coming through at some point. Cool. So yeah, like I said, that's us for the rest of the day. We will stay online until 2:30. So if you have questions, pop in, leave us a message, send us an email, give us a call. We're here. Thanks, everyone.